Well, welcome to Kitchen Ace, everybody. As Chef Michael mentioned, my name is Ramirez, and I'm the executive pastry chef here today. And I hope everybody's hungry. Great. So what we're going to do after the pozole, we're going to bring a little thing out called an intermezzo. So what this intermezzo is going to be is an intermezzo shot. And it's a ruby pink grapefruit with spiced with tequila. So basically what the intermezzo is, it's to cleanse your palate. So when you get rid of the seafood and that little bit of green chili, then we'll move into desserts. First thing we're going to do is check my temperature of the oil because we're going to have some fried foods. So desserts are great fried. Just about anything's great fried. So some of the items that we're going to fry them at about 350 degrees. And what I'm going to do is make sure our oil's at temperature so when we move into that, we can fry right away. And then as you guys are enjoying your pozole, I'm going to start explaining how we're going to make our cold spiced chocolate milk. I'm going to show you how to make a little chocolate cup. And this is what we're going to put our chocolate milk into. Okay? So what we're going to start off first is we're going to start off, there it goes. We're going to make our chocolate milk. And you guys have that recipe. It's called a cold chocolate milk, hence the name, cold. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring everything to a boil. And I'm going to add our milk, our water. Pretty easy recipe to make. Now, I add a little bit of water just so we break up the richness of this chocolate. Okay, I'm going to bring that to a boil. Put in our stick cinnamon. So that pozole is made with some green, some tomatillo chili, the shrimp in there, then you have the radish. Now, the traditional way to eat it is take your cabbage, your radish, cilantro, put it on top of your soup, and then you have that little chips to eat it with. So you get all those flavors combined together. Now, while you guys are enjoying that, I'm going to explain what we're doing and what I'm doing up here. So I'm going to take all my dry ingredients, sugar, salt, cocoa powder, and we want to mix those together. Now, the reason why you don't want to put everything in separately like the cocoa powder, what's going to happen is our milk, it's going to ball up inside the milk. And we don't want that. So if we just strain it or shake it up together, the cocoa powder with the sugar and the salt, we won't have to strain that and it won't be lumpy at all. Okay, so the milk here, we're going to let boil. I'm trying to check the temperature, but I forgot I got about 8 pairs of gloves on. I figured I'd save time because this way I can just peel them off instead of washing my hands. All right. So I put in this stick cinnamon. Now, does anybody know when that stick cinnamon is done, when you know that all those flavors have come out of there? Every cinnamon you get is pretty much wound up nice and tight. Now, when you bring it to a boil, it's going to expand. Most of the time when that expands, it's already releasing all those flavors inside the stick cinnamon. So I want to make sure that that thing comes to a good boil. I got my vanilla here. So I have a little bit of cocoa powder in there, and then we're going to finish it off with some chocolate. So it's going to be a real chocolate milk. Now, the chocolate I'm using today is a 58% chocolate. So if you have a question where you can get this, you can pick this chocolate up at Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Albertsons has it, even Walmart has it. You go in the candy section, they'll have a top shelf of gourmet chocolates. It'll go from 74, 72, 68. Now, what that means is that's the percentage of chocolate in there in cocoa butter. The higher the cocoa butter, actually the higher the chocolate and the less cocoa butter, the bitter the chocolate is. So what I like to use is 58%, so 58% cocoa butter in here. Makes it nice and smooth, good flavor. And you'll see something like a milk chocolate, that'll have like a 32% cocoa butter, and it's super sweet. Actually, I like that one too. Okay, so if you can see my milk, it's starting to froth up. We're starting to come to a boil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that cinnamon stick open up. Once that opens up, then I'm going to throw in my sugar, stir that around, stir it till it's dissolved. Add my vanilla chocolate, stir that till it's dissolved. Then I'm going to chill it down in a water bath. So this water bath I have is just a bunch of ice down here on the bottom. I got a little bit of salt on there. My stainless steel bowl. I'm going to strain that stick cinnamon out of here. Put that to chill, and then I'm going to set that aside. Okay. So I'm boiling away in here now. Now I'm going to stir in my cocoa powdered sugar mixture. Okay, so now this is coming to a boil. I got my sugar in there. Okay, now I'm going to throw in my chocolate. So now as this boils, and now that I've added the sugar, I want to continue stirring. Once you add a sugar to a boiling liquid like this, if you don't stir it, that sugar is going to go to the bottom. It's going to be the first thing that burns in your pot. Then you have to start all over. And I've done that many times.
So, Leo, could you also serve this as like a hot chocolate?
Oh, absolutely. So, if you wanted to during the holidays, what you could do is you could add your favorite liquor. I love Grand Marnier, so I use a lot of Grand Marnier in our cooking. I love the tequila. Tequila goes good with just about anything. So you can make this into like a hot toddy. Throw some cloves in there, throw some liquor in there, serve it in a nice cup. Orange goes great with chocolate as well, so you can just slice an orange and put in there. So, it's all up to your imagination, and that's what I love about pastry. All right, so now everything looks nice and dissolved. Our stick cinnamon's opened up a little bit at the end. These cinnamon sticks that we have are just really thick, and they take a long time to boil. But the ones you get in the market, you'll see they'll open right up. And you can really start to smell your cinnamon flavor come out of there. All right. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, pour it through my strainer, and we're going to let this chill. Our next recipe, what we're going to do is we're going to move into a thing called a Sopapilla. Now, this is a fried pastry. There is a thing called a buñuelo, which is also fried pastry, but that's served in a round ball, almost like a beignet. And what this is, it's a traditional, it comes from Spain. It's a Spaniard dessert. What we're going to do is we're going to make the dough, roll it flat, cut it in triangles, and then we're going to deep fry it and serve it with a cinnamon sugar coating. But we're going to kick it up. Traditionally, it's served with honey and powdered sugar. What we're going to do is we're going to serve it with some sweet whipped cream, a strawberry compote, a little blueberry compote, and then serve it with our cold chocolate milk. Okay? So I want to make sure that our oil is maintaining temperature, and I don't want to get it too hot because I hate to burn down black and blue, especially after Chef Mike won the award. Okay, so I'm going to throw my butter in there. Throw my salt in there. Throw my baking powder. Actually, I'm going to back up. I got a little too anxious there, and I threw my butter in there. I'm going to pull that butter out. Because first what you want to do is when you have your dry ingredients with the multiple other ingredients, you want to mix them all up together first. Then put in your shortening or your fats. Okay, here's my other flour. Now, how many of you guys have a KitchenAid mixer at home? All right, great. I've gone through 3 of them at home because I make, at one point in my life I had 5 kids, so I made all the bread, the brownies, cookies, and then I taught them, and then when I was gone, they would make it. So we've gone through 3 of these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little dough hook in there. Okay. All right. Want to do it on low speed, make sure everything gets mixed up there really good. Now I'm going to throw that fat in there. Now basically what I want to do with this is let that butter coat that flour. So it's going to get the consistency of almost like a cornmeal. So we call that the modified mix method when we're making quick breads or muffins. And at this point you can let this thing go do something else, come back 5 minutes later, be ready to mix. Okay, so we're going to mix it there. And once this incorporates in there, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so if you can take a look at this flour, you see the little clumps of butter in there? I'm going to let it mix a little bit more, and that butter is going to coat that flour. Okay? So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. So has anybody ever had a sopapilla? 1, 2, wow, 3. I've had a lot of them. That's why I wear this heavyweight belt. But I tell you, don't discriminate against desserts. I like to try everything. Okay, so this one's looking pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my milk. Now at any point when you mix this dough, it should be, we're going to mix it smooth. Roughly takes about 12 minutes or so. So I'm going to pull this off, and I'm going to show you what this dough looks like. Okay, can you take a look at this? Can everybody see that? So you see how it's got some of that flour at the bottom? I'm going to mix it some more so it comes into one dough mass, and it's going to be nice and smooth. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this dough, rip a piece off. And let's see, can you see it right there? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this dough. See how it just ripped? Okay, so the gluten's not developed in that. So if you were to make bread out of that, it would come out dry and tough and not so pretty. Yeah, the thing in pastry is you can't rush it. You know, it's the slowest thing to make. And so with bread, we usually get bread going early in the morning because usually you make it takes 12 to 18 minutes to mix depending on what kind of bread you're making. What we're doing right now is called the straight dough method. We put all the dry ingredients in there, put the wet ingredients, put the fat, mix it 12 minutes, and then we're going to develop that gluten window, let it rest a few minutes, and then we're going to cut it, proof it, bake it. So straight dough method. Okay, see how we can stretch that? See how I can pull it really thin? So that's our gluten developed in the bread. So that is a gluten window right there. I can get it super thin. It's thin like a membrane. Okay, so our gluten is developed, and we're ready to make a sopapilla. So with this, I'm going to roll this about 1/8 of an inch thick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this in triangular shapes. I'm going to throw it in here. My grease is my oil is at 360. Don't want to crowd anything. I get a little thick part on this, so I'm just going to cut this off. Now, the good thing about this is, now, you see those frying up there? See how these are puffing up? So these are going to be like little pillows with a hollow on the inside. And, you know, at home, you might want to drain these in a dry towel, paper towel, get some of that oil off. Oops. And we'll let these cool. Okay, but that's it. That's the sopapilla right there. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take some frosted flakes. Dump these into a bowl. Let's see if you guys can see here. Add a little bit of cinnamon in there. So when you use the frosted flakes, these already have sugar coating on them. Now I'm just going to break these apart. Okay. Let's see where we're at on time here. So I'm going to break these up really nice and small. Okay, now you would scoop your ice cream a day in advance because you'd leave it in the freezer. And the reason why you want it so small is because that thing will get rock hard in your freezer. If you leave it in a big bulk mass, it just doesn't seem to get really hard in some freezers. So if you scoop it, it'll get rock solid frozen. Okay, so there's your crumbs there. So now with this one, what we're going to do is we're going to take some eggs. Where did I put those eggs? Here they are. And I'm just going to crack these in here. Okay, so we got our 4 eggs in there. I got a little cinnamon on this whisk, so it's going to be a little colored, but that's okay. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to whisk this. So now I got our ice cream. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it in this egg. And I'm going to put it inside our frosted flakes. Okay, so can you see that? These are Tony the Tiger Frosted Flakes. So not corn flakes. Corn flakes won't work. Corn flakes would work, but it wouldn't have that extra love that we like. Okay? So these are Frosted Flakes. So the Frosted Flakes have all the sugar frosted on them, the extra love on that. Then we're gonna throw the cinnamon in there. So now we got all our sugar on there. So now what I'm gonna do is we would take this ball, we'd freeze it. Okay, can everybody see that? It's nice and coated. We'd freeze that a second time, come back, throw it in our egg mixture again. Now throw it back in our Frosted Flakes. Okay? Now at this point, I would throw this in the freezer and let it freeze overnight again. Now what we're doing is we're taking that egg mixture and we're getting that rock solid with the ice cream. Now we throw that in the freezer or in the fryer. We're going to fry it for about 10 seconds. Pull it out. We want to fry it just long enough to cook that egg on there and create that hard shell. In the meantime, that's going to melt that ice cream a little bit, make it a little bit soft in there. So there's our deep fried ice cream. Okay, it's dipped twice, coated twice. Now we're ready to fry. And you probably don't want to have tongs like I have. Yeah, slotted spoon. But there you go. So this is how we're doing our Sopapilla laid up. Okay, we'll take some of these. Okay. Now, our chocolate milk is nice and cold. Okay, so this is going to go that way. So I'll put a little chocolate cigarette on here and a little chocolate shaving. So all these items you can buy, Sprouts, Michael's has a lot of great supplies. Hobby Lobby, a lot of great supplies. And then the chocolate we're going to use for the cup is actually, it's called a glazed tabs. And you can pick those up at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. And what you do is you're going to warm those up in a microwave. I brought a package here, but I left it in my office. But they're like $1.99. Or no, I think it's $2.99. It's about 8 ounces of chocolate. Warm those up in the microwave. You're going to stir it up. Okay, so with your ice cream, it's no longer hot. We're just going to do some little debobs. So what they're doing in the back is they're setting these up, frying all the ice creams for you. And you guys can come and try those. Here they come. Okay. So this is all the frou-frou stuff, the tricks of the trade that we get to play with. On these cups, you want to make a little cup. So we kind of get creative when we buy these little things. But what I've done is, well, basically what this was is I can't get it out now. It's a little bit too warm. I should have kept these in the refrigerator. But this is actually a cap to an aerosol can. So I take that cap, I wrap it with saran wrap. Okay, pull it really tight. Put a little Vaseline spray or Pam spray on that. Then I'm going to dip that into my chocolate. Okay, then you chill it. Once you chill it, the chocolate hardens up. Once you bring it to room temperature, it extracts a little bit, and then you can pull your cap out. This I can't get out because it's been out here at room temperature, and I can't pull it out without breaking it. So the next thing what we did is took a regular balloon. You can buy anywhere. Just tie it up. And let me grab some chocolate real quick. I'm going to dip my balloon in there. So you can make your cup different sizes. Now I'm just going to set it on the paper. Okay. So these that I have done, now we're going to pop that balloon. Now, to make this little handle, this is a pretty cool little trick. Okay, and we got some regular dust spray to clean your laptop with. Show you what we're going to do with that. I don't want to put the chocolate on the granite because what's going to happen is it's going to get hard. This is some of those glazed bits I told you about. I just threw them in here, okay? So by me throwing this in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this until it almost comes out like a dough. And then I'm going to roll it thin and make my little chocolate handle. As it chills down, it's going to get hard and it doesn't melt. Then I'm going to put some chocolate on there. I'll put the chocolate on there like that. Use my chocolate there to hold it together. This dust spray, if you hold it upright, blows regular air. You put it upside down, now it's chilled air. So I just do a quick little blast on my handle. Now it's frozen on there. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to roll this thing thinner and thinner. Okay, so now it's about the size of a pencil. Okay? All right, so as soon as those get hard, I'll wipe my hands off, and I'll glue it to my cup. So now I can just take a little bit of this chocolate. Now remember, this is just chocolate glaze you can buy at Hobby Lobby, Michael's. Okay, so there's our cup with the handle on there. Okay? So again, this is something the more you do, the better you get. It helps to work in a cool room because then the chocolate doesn't melt so fast. All right. Well, everyone, questions? You're very welcome. Thank you. I had fun. Well, great. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you enjoyed everything. And again, my name is Ramirez, and I hope you have fun making these at home.